guys, and welcome over to this lovely little fireside chat with the Nerd for No Reason podcast. We're going to have a nice little time here. How's it going? How's your Christmas season? Are you having a great time? Well, we're going to tell you a little story today, narrated by one of your hosts. That's going to be me. I'm Raven. Hi.
And hello, ho ho ho, I'm one of your other hosts. I'm Santa Mark. Hey, what's up,
Santa
everybody?
Mark.
Santa
Well,
Mark. Ho ho ho.
not
Have
Mark
you,
Claus.
have you, yeah, sure, Mark Claus will work. Have you been a good little boy and or girl?
Shit, probably not. In this economy, nobody can afford that.
No, they can't.
No. It's crazy out here in these streets. What's going on, man?
Oh, man. Well, I've been fighting the non-cold of the century. My last week we didn't record because I was sick, and I will try to insert the audio of how sick I was, because whenever I do get sick, it's become kind of a running joke about, oh, hey, Dad, are you Barry White sick? Because when I get sick, my voice just does this great thing where I can get super low and sound like Barry White. And Saturday morning, I woke up after spending all day Friday moving heavy furniture out of my house. And I woke up Saturday morning and I kind of just kind of groaned a little bit. And I was like, oh no, my voice is going. And I was like, you know what would be really cool is if I recorded a podcast promo spot as Barry White, and this is what it sounded like.
It's me, the Walrus of Love. Thank you for tuning in to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was my voice, unmodified, like
Ooh.
literally lifted directly off my phone, no process or anything. My voice was shot, and then it moved from my voice or from my throat, where my throat was sore for a couple days, and it's done kind of worked its way up into my sinus cavity, where I have a sinus infection, undiagnosed sinus infection, but I
Right.
don't have like any of the I had the drainage and a little bit of congestion, but I don't have like any of like the dark gunky mucus or anything, but I've lost my sense of smell.
Oh,
And I'm just
no.
now starting to get it back.
Yeah.
But I didn't lose my sense of taste. So that's weird.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Right. And I have like this slight cough where I have like a little bit of congestion in my chest, and it's just slowly working its way like all around my respiratory system. And I feel like I'm on the other side of it, mainly because I can smell like coffee grounds and like starting to smell food and deodorant and stuff now. But I've been scared to death for the past 2 days. Like, I don't know if I stink or not.
I mean, ooh, yeah. You don't want to be that person walking around just like, what's up, guys? Merry Christmas, hugging everyone. And they're just like, Mark,
They're like, oh my God.
are you okay? Ooh.
So, and we were coming back from my dad's house yesterday, and we were coming. My dad kind of lives in the country, we'll say, and as we were driving past some farm fields or something, we hit a patch of swamp gas, and the kids were like, "Oh my God! Oh, that smells so bad, Dad! Did you fart?" And I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. Can't smell anything." They're like, "Oh, you're so lucky," but I
You're
didn't
over there
fart.
like, I wish I did fart. Wait, you
You know,
did?
but yeah, so if you hear me sniffle throughout the episode, that's kind of what's going on. Yeah, that's where we're at. Raven, how have you been?
Man, I just been doing same old, getting ready for all this Christmas stuff. Getting ready for all this Christmas stuff to be over. I'm
I
not
know.
normally like bah humbug, but like this year I've just not I've not been feeling it. And but I like when I like go around and see other people's stuff and I'm like, "Oh, this is so sweet. This is so cute." And then I come home and I was like, "I'm just gonna put up a Christmas tree. Sorry, Chris. I don't really want to put anything out." And he was just like, "Okay, that's fine." Because normally before I moved in, he like wouldn't decorate at all, just because he was like, "I don't want to have to like put it up." And so now I'm like, if you're not gonna put it up, then I'm not gonna put it up. So here we are. It's one of them
Yep.
things. We got a dog that's on some new medication, so he is lots of urination. Lovely
Oh,
little 16-year-old dog is on a um, diuretic pill. So when he was already full of urine, now it feels like he really is just straight urine. So we put him
oh,
in little doggy diapers, but he looks so cute in them. And he doesn't seem to
that
mind
poor
them.
dog.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But now at least he can just be like, we're laying in bed, and mom won't yell at me for peeing while I lay here. And I'm like, you little brat. Because at least he's got the diaper on. That's. Oh, last night when Chris came to bed, Mudslide had been laying kind of like with his little legs facing towards me. And when Chris like got in bed, next thing I know, Mudslide just starts like he's like, ah, and we're like, what's going on? What's wrong? Like he was just like crying. And one of his little paws in the front, if we like tried to move, we thought maybe he just had like a little muscle spasm or something like that, pulled a little muscle somehow. And like he was being a big baby about it, so of course I super babied him. I'm pull him over, I'm like stroking him, trying to get him to go to sleep and feel comfortable. And then Kavik ended up being like, I want to sleep downstairs. So Chris was like, whatever, I'll go take care of him. Slept on the couch. And so this morning when I wake up, Mudslide, I like tried to get him to come back over to me and he was holding up his little paw. I'm like, all right, let me try and move everything again. He seems fine. I literally touched everything. We get up to go downstairs. He's like, oh no, I have to limp. And then trying to go down the stairs, he's like a whole thing. And Chris was messing with his paw. And he was like, I don't think there's anything actually wrong with it. I was like, I think somehow he just got like one of those little tiny paper cut type cuts. Somehow in bed. I don't know what he was doing. But Chris was like, he's really playing it up whenever he sees you instantly walk into the room. Because he was just upstairs feeding the boys. And I walk upstairs and he was like, Mudslide was just standing here on all four paws. But the moment he sees you, that little paw goes up and he's like, oh, Mom, I need pity. Please. I can't stand here with this injured paw. I'm just like, oh my God. Gotta baby the baby until it's all better.
hmm
Yeah. But that's just how it goes around here. Just taking care of these little silly guys.
Well, I will say that with kind of being sick and being able to kind of hunker down, I was able to. Um, uh, I don't know if this is going to segue into our actual movie of this week, but I
Ooh.
was actually able to watch some Hallmark movies, or at least a Hallmark movie, because I don't know who's got that time to watch more than one, but I watched like an actual legit Hallmark movie um, after we watched Christmas on the Farm, and I got to stand by my feeling of how I felt when we recorded last. The standard, real deal, traditional Hallmark movie that, as long as it has Lacey Chabert in it, is like leaps and bounds better. Like, I know what's going to happen. It's formulaic as hell, but for some reason, it hits the marks. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's a well-oiled machine. I think I watched the Christmas Waltz that we were going to talk about last week, and as I was watching that, I was like, oh man, this is so much more enjoyable.
Not a
So,
standard Hallmark? Or was it like, are
oh
you
no,
just saying that it's better than what we watched
no,
before it?
no, it was a standard Hallmark.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean, it was better than Christmas on the Farm, but it was just
Sorry that my farm wasn't good enough for you.
no, that's not your fault. I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire on watching some drunk lady try to save her Australian farm with her gay friends who are clearly the stars of that movie.
They can just make a spin off on those little guys.
I'm telling you,
How you running this farm uh without this woman? Explain to us.
we're doing great. You'll never believe it. We're doing so well. This
Right?
crazy, the owner's crazy daughter wants to come and save the farm with this harebrained scheme.
It's always you gotta. That's like the big thing. It's always you gotta save something. There's this weird, crazy love interest that you're kind of like, no, 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 it's not that, but it is that. I'm gonna take me a little piece of that. There's always some friends that are like, oh my goodness, we're just glad to have you back home. The only thing was it was in Australia. That's all it was. And that's your classic Hallmark Christmas. Also, you saying who has time to just sit and watch a bunch of Hallmark Christmases back to back? Dude, when I was in high school and the like Hallmark Christmas movies came on, my senior year, it was ridiculous, but I would literally finish my homework and then just sit there and watch back to back Hallmark Christmas movies until I was like, okay, it's dinner time. Okay, now that dinner's over, back to this. It was
Yeah, but that was
ridiculous.
before we had things like responsibilities and jobs and things like that.
Man, I can barely make it through just like an episode or two of One Piece, and then I'm like, oh, well, it's bedtime now. Ah, yeah, I
I
feel you.
found it I found it harder now just to kind of keep my attention span going. Like I'm so nervous now to start a movie. I'll just doom scroll through Netflix, be like, oh yeah, I could watch that. Yeah, I could watch that. And then I'm like, man, do I want to start that and get bored with it 20 minutes in? I don't know if I can watch that. I will do that for 10 minutes and they're like, no, I guess I'll just put on a cooking show on Pluto or something. And
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I've been doing that where I'm like, man, I really want to watch something, and I'll try and find like some horror movie or something, and then I'm like, do I really have time for this? Am I gonna make it through? I'll just put
yeah,
something on YouTube. It's fine. It's just
yeah.
like the same stuff that I've been watching every night. And I'm just like, yeah, I can watch three of these 20 to 30 minute long videos back to back. It's cool. Like, what am I doing? I don't know.
All right. Well, I want to talk about this week's movie.
Let's get to it.
Because this one we've been wanting to talk about this one for an entire year. It came out last December. I thought it was going to come out on digital during the holidays, and it didn't. I think it came out right after the holidays, and we
Mm-hmm.
never ended up talking about it. And that is 2022's Violent Night, starring David Harbour and John Leguizamo. Raven, what did you think of Violent Night? And for the record, saying that sounds so good. I needed to get back into some normality, and I'm not gonna lie, that this is like right where it's at for me. So, Raven, what did you think of Violent Night?
When you very first started and you're like, "Oh, there's some Santas in the bar," and Santa's just like, "This may be the last Christmas." And you're just like, "All right, depressed Santa, let's go for it. What we got in store?" Makes you feel a little sad, especially if you're already a little sad during the holidays. And then it just goes straight into one of the worst types of families ever, where there's literally only one person that you're like, okay, I like this little girl. The rest of her family's like dog shit. Everyone's got the worst personality possible. And then you get to see Santa kick some ass. I mean, that's really the only Christmas movie I feel like we should need now. It's just Santa just going at it. Killing? You ever see Santa kill? That was crazy. I thought it was a good time. I'm not gonna lie. I want more crazy Santa movies like this. Mark, what did you think about this movie?
This movie, I remember when it came out, where a lot of people were saying that they didn't like it. The movie was kind of confused and it didn't know what it wanted to be. In oh, it's supposed to be Die Hard with Santa Claus, but it's not, and it's just confused, and it just sucks. Listen, this movie is exactly everything I wanted it to be.
Right?
I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It was fantastic. I will watch this again. It
Absolutely.
was such a great, fun time. Everyone knew exactly what they were doing in this movie, what the intent of this movie was. Santa Claus kicking ass in this house because he can't get out for whatever reason, and beat for beat, we are going to play it like Die Hard. And David Habour absolutely kills it as Santa Claus, which is some words that I never thought I would say in real life. But no, this movie is phenomenal. And I am genuinely frustrated that people like Scott Campbell from the website We Got This Covered says, excessively violent and laced with thick veins of jet black humor, bolstered by its formidable blah, 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 blah. Shut up. This movie's fantastic. No, just like I had to come onto Rotten Tomatoes and see what people were like talking shit on it. But surprisingly, Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 73 critic score and an 88 audience score, which seems about right.
Nice.
I'm trying to think like if there was a part that I kind of had beef with, and honestly, it was just kind of dealing with the shitty family members. I think
Right?
ultimately, like, I get they weren't supposed to, like, they're supposed to be shitty for a reason, but every time I had to deal with that dumb family drama, I was like, let's get back to Santa Claus kicking ass. You know, I just
Yeah.
did not care enough about whatever they had going on. But it was pretty fantastic. So,
Yeah, Chris and I, since we watched it, we've just been like talking about especially the like sister and
oh yeah,
her shitty boyfriend, and at the very beginning where she's like, kiss me in front of my son.
right.
That
Yes, I
part
know,
was
right?
so just like out of pocket, and you're just like, why? No wonder your brother's the favorite. You're actually insane, lady.
Yeah, Bertrude. She named her kid Bertrude.
Oh, Bertrude and cousin Gertrude. Just call him
Oh,
Birdie. Man.
and he was the worst kind of kid too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he was a shitbag, and the actor, dude. I was really hoping the actor would have just been like a himbo, like he just would have been a lovable idiot. But he was
Yeah.
such an asshole too, and I was like,
Yep.
damn, you know, like it really would have been fun. I was hoping to like that first scene when he's like, "Oh yeah, in this one movie, I was kicking these people and he was doing these kind of dumb moves or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, this character might have a little bit of a redeemable quality about him. Like he might just be an idiot, and I'm okay with that." And then he said or did. I think it like right after that, it was like kissed me in front of my son or something. I was like, all right, yeah, you're both horrible.
Yep,
Okay,
no.
here we go.
That whole little section of family, they can go. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Santa can take them out. Special ops can take them out. Somebody can. The grandmother though, the OG Gertrude, when you meet her, she just comes flying out the gate of just she is straight business, and if you're not with it, you can get the fuck out.
Yep.
Oh, can you just imagine like you go to a Christmas dinner and like a vet comes out and just like starts talking on the phone in like this crazy manner, and you're just like, what am I why am I here? Like I would be scared to ever go home for holidays like that. If I was just like, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I understand that her son was just like, hey, I think we're gonna leave now.
I mean, is there? I don't know. I want to say that I've known people when I was in the military who like had to go in the military for 4 years so they could get on their grandmothers or the matriarch of the family's good side, and they've talked about stuff like this. Was like, I hate going to family stuff because everyone's fake to begin with, and then when we get there, it's all about just kissing my grandmother's ass. I'm like, well, then don't go. Like you don't have to. It's like, nope. He's like, it's like politics, man. You're going there just to kind of because it's your family and you're doing all that. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to.
Also, you want to benefit the what you reap and sow and all that stuff because you want in that will $35 million that was supposed to be in a vault. Yeah, of course you want to be on mom's good side
Mm-hmm.
because you want to get at least maybe like half of that. Shoot, 1 million for that family.
Yeah,
That's like pocket change to them.
it is.
They're just like, whatever. We don't care. We want the big stacks.
I'm kind of curious because at the end when it's revealed that the one dude stole $300 million, I think that 300 million might be more than they portrayed in that movie. Because he was just like, oh yeah, I took it and hid it in some duffel bags, and it's over here in this manger that we have on our property.
Right.
I think 300 million's more than that.
I don't know, man. When they like open the vault and there's like a few little dollars hanging out, but it's those big cases of just like empty, you're just like, that looks like it should be a lot.
I love once we finally start getting into the action. I love that Santa is just kind of he's fed up with everything, and then he's like he's just going around, he's drinking the liquor, and then he sits in the reclining chair or the massaging chair and passes out. And when he wakes up, he's like, oh, he tries to get out of there and he can't for whatever. Like once the action starts and we start and he gets in his first fight where he has to beat somebody up, I literally was sitting there with just this big dumb grin on my face because I didn't know what to expect, and I was kind of expecting it to be kind of cheesy, but bad cheesy, not the good kind of cheesy. Like I was really expecting the stunt work to be kind of horrible and all of that, but no, like this was for the lack of better words, it was very John Wickish. The stunts and the choreograph and everything else was really tight. They did a really good job.
Dude, if my man David Harbour's in something, I know it's gonna be good. Straight up. Anything that he is ever in, I'm like, yep, I'm on board. He is such a good actor, and I feel like he chooses roles that, you know, they're not gonna really disappoint you. I'd say he's in the top actors for me, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah, what I've seen from him, I'm always just like, especially like if you look outside of Stranger Things and some of the things that he does, he tries to be like this big, masculine, bulky type guy, and especially for this, like seeing his tattoos that were like these cool, uh,
Like Viking tattoos?
yes, these cool
Yes.
like Viking, but they're like also kind of wintry based, which was super cool. Like I love that kind of character and style, just to be like, holy shit, Santa used to be a freaking Viking and was like bashing people's heads in and stuff, and now he's just out here like, hey kids, you want some gifts?
That was such a good origin story for Santa Claus. It was also after Santa Claus gets stabbed in his side or cut on his side, he pulls off his
Bro.
stuff and he's got all these John Wick. He pulls off his shirt and he's got all these tattoos and he's sewing himself up with whatever the hell it was. And I mean, this was so the right amount of camp and corniness and action. Exactly what I wanted in this movie. I dug the hell out of this shit. It was so great. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris had, I think when it first came out that you could watch it online or streaming apps or whatever, Chris watched it when he first moved into the apartment. And so he was like, "Okay, I've seen it, so I kind of know what's going on." And I was like, "Do you think Santa would have like background in actually fighting?" But I'm not even, and he was like, "You'll find out. You'll find out. We'll see." But let's actually break this down for a second. If Santa's, I don't know how long the origin of Santa actually is, but if Santa's been out there and it's been like the same dude, we're not talking like the Tim Allen where you like fall off the roof and next person gets it. If it's been just the same guy for like 1,000 years, at some point Santa's had to come into contact with some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
He's probably seen some fights. He's definitely had some dogs come at him, and he's just like, I gotta know what to do. Some, you know, random drunk person or someone on some crazy drugs is probably gonna try and like kick his ass. And he's gotta be like, I gotta know what to do. So, like, is Santa over there taking like martial arts or some kind of classes where with the elves to be like, all right, when it comes time, what do we do?
Well, I think they kind of said. I guess the best explanation for all of this is Christmas magic. Still don't really know how it works.
I mean, I guess that's fair too. Ooh. He's just like, yeah, you brought me back to life, thanks. And they're just like, okay. Which, during that scene in itself, when when Bertrude is like, I believe too, whatever, and then the grandmother and the like awful sister are also like, I believe. I was like, do you guys actually have an input? None of you like really watched any of the stuff that Santa was out here like really doing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, okay. I feel like all the faith just really came from that little girl, and she was like, what's up? I brought Santa back to life. What'd you guys do? Nothing. You guys
Nothing.
stayed in that room and almost got killed by some random guy. Let's. You want to talk about like some of these deaths? Because some of these
Oh,
deaths are crazy.
yeah, they are.
Absolutely wild. So, our first one, where we see someone fall, well, I guess it's not technically the first one, but the first, like, insane one. where Santa's fighting a dude. He gets thrown out the window and he literally gets impaled. He Do you know in Frozen? I think it's the first one where like Olaf steps into an icicle and he's like, "Oh no, I've been impaled."
Yeah.
That was that guy. But he didn't get to do the cute little line because my man's gone.
I here's the thing about that one. At the time when I first saw it, I was like, oh, we're gonna go this route. Cool. But looking back comparatively to the rest of it, I'm like, oh, this is just standard operating procedure for like these kind of movies. Um, because honestly, I feel like the next one might be my favorite. Um, where he fights the person in the basement or the game
Oh
room,
my
if you
God.
will. This was a fantastic fight. This goes
That
back to
was
that
so good.
awesome choreographed fight of, they're my man is throwing punches and slinging pull cue balls around and billiard balls and slapping dude overhead, and ultimately stabs him with the tree topper star in the face.
Man.
And then or was it plugged in, or he plugged
Yes,
it in
he
or
plugs
something?
it in.
He plugs it in, and he gets
Electrocutes him.
electrocutes him and sets the dude's head on fire. And I was like, yes, this is my shit.
What a way to go out. And that it's by freaking Santa Claus.
Right.
Jeez. Oh. No, when that whole scene happened, I was just like, this is like the greatest Christmas movie. This might
And
be in my top favorite now.
I can't argue with that. I also like there's this really great kind of consistency moment where you've already found out that he's some kind of Viking or whatever, and in this scene he gets a gun and he tries to pull the trigger and he doesn't know to turn the safety off.
Yeah.
And later on you get kind of the line of like, does anyone know how to use one of these things? And I'm like, of course he wouldn't know. For one, he's Santa Claus, and
Oh,
two, he's a Viking. He don't know how to work like complex gun machinery. He don't know what the hell a safety is. Give him his hammer.
dude, that thing was sick too. Watching him in the scene where he's in like that barn and all these like crazy military type dudes just go strolling in and he puts the beat down on them.
Yes. I don't know where like half of those dudes came from because they didn't show them walking in or whatever. Like he had to have knocked out 20 different people, and I swear only 10 people walked into that building. But I'm okay with it.
True. But like it wasn't even just like his giant sledgehammer that he's using. He's literally using stuff just in there. The ice skates. He chopped the
Yes.
whole dude's head off. Ah, so good. I love this like crazy violence for a Christmas movie. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it. Next Christmas movie 2024 better be violent. That's all I want.
You cut out. You literally cut out as you said that, and I didn't hear it. You
No.
probably recorded it, but I didn't hear it. Say it again.
2024. All I want. Christmas violence.
You know what? I'm okay
I
with
want
that.
more crazy stuff. Yeah. Honestly, you know, I know how you're talking about like the Die Hard people being like, this is basically just Die Hard. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. I do not care what you people say. This is at least a Christmas movie with crazy, insane gore and language and just insanity. This is what I want.
This did check off all the boxes. Um,
For real.
I really I really liked the Home Alone shtick at the end too, or towards the end of the movie when they got to do a Home Alone shtick.
Trudy knew the assignment.
Absolutely.
Man, because that dude literally was like, haha, you're supposed to hide it. And then my man's mouth goes through a giant nail.
Oh, as soon as he said, "Ha you got to hide it," I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get fucked up.
Oh,
You're in for it now, buddy."
that kid understood this assignment. She was like, she was not playing, okay? Let's think about Home Alone. And he was just like, I'm going to just start swinging some stuff at these people. I'm just trying to get them out. This girl was going for kills. Straight up. She had bowling balls
Yes, she did.
just straight going at these people. Killed a man, technically. She's still on the nice list? I don't know. But somehow she's she's just doing it. I like I liked her. She was a cute little thing. So for her to just be like, "What's up? We're protecting the family." Man, this was quite the movie.
And I also like to kind of move towards, I guess, the end of the movie was that the final scene or the final battle um, between him and John Leguizamo was actually a good fight.
Mhm.
Like it was, I felt like there was actual stakes. I felt invested in it. Like this is weird that because most of the time, even with Die Hard, as much as I like Die Hard, there wasn't. Uh, it was a good kind of climax to get to that point, but this one I kind of felt like they were on equal footing when they were fighting each other, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm on board with it. Like that I keep wanting to call him Hopper, but but Santa couldn't get traction on the ice, and the other guy had on his running shoes, if you will, and
Man.
and they were fighting, and I was just like, okay, like we're in it right now, all right. And even when it was over, and he, the commando dude showed up out of nowhere, I was like, we're not gonna get a good fight with this. Like we've already had our big fight. Someone else is gonna get their moment, and they did. But I really dug I really dug that kind of final fight. I don't feel like they botched it.
Yeah. Also, uh that one dude's death where he's like Christmas magic and he shoots up into the chimney. Man's body got ripped in half. Whew. Whew. That was insane. That was also a good kill. Ah. And then you got the whole family believing.
Yep. Well, I
I mean,
mean, of
how
course.
I mean, how could you not believe after, seeing the reindeer, seeing Santa fly away? Which, by the way, that opening scene where the lady at the bar is like, "Hey, you can't be on the roof." And she's like, "Oh my God, Santa Claus is real." And then he throws up on her. Do you think
Oh
that woman
yeah.
ever celebrated Christmas a day in her life?
Oh no.
How could you? How could you ever look at any type of little Santa in your house and not be like, you ruined this for me.
This is like that moment in Gremlins where everyone's like, "Oh man, I can't believe this is happening." She's like, "I'll tell you where I lost my Christmas spirit. I was a bartender in London, and all of a sudden I walked outside and Santa Claus threw up on me." She's like, "Okay,
Right? You're like,
cool."
yeah, okay. That's crazy.
And that's why I don't celebrate Christmas.
Oh,
So,
goodness. Goodness, goodness.
all right, you got anything else before we move on?
I do not believe.
I definitely feel like we are ending this year on a very strong note with this movie.
Ending on a crazy movie, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on and let's move on to my favorite part of the week. My favorite part. I love this part so much. This is the part where we find out the little things that made us happy. We celebrate the small victories because even with all of this nonsense in the world, it's important for you to sit back and be thankful for all the things that made you happy. So, Raven, please tell me what made you happy this week.
Um, it's been me just working as per usual. I've seen quite a bit of my clients that I really like, and some of them are like, here's a little extra. And so I'm just like, this is sweet. And I've gotten a few tiny little things from some clients, and I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. But one of my clients, my last one of the week, I only see her every like 3 months. So I think I've only done her dogs like 3 or 4 times at this point. And she is so sweet. And she got this cute little bag embroidered for me, and it says Raven Best Fluff and Groomer, and it's got like a little doodle on it. And she got me some like other nice little things inside. So I was just like, this is so sweet. And the dog that I had done right before her, I was like, I hate grooming. This is why I hate grooming. Because of these insane dogs that blah, 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 blah. Like I had had a rough time with the dog right before her. But I was just like, no, I do like grooming. Because I love her dogs. And then I do get some clients that I'm just like, you guys are the nicest people. And I'm just like grateful for my job and some of the people, and of course, plenty of the dogs that I get to meet. Um, but yeah, that made me just get the warm and fuzzies. But then today um, we went back home today and did like a little family thing where we went and watched Chris's cousin. She has a daughter that does ballet, and they were doing the Nutcracker, so we went and watched her do the Nutcracker. I think they said that this is her last elementary performance. And so next year she'll be a big old middle schooler. But it was just cute to watch because there was, you know, tiny kids all the way to like high schools, and then they had like professional dancers doing some of the like big choreographed things. So that was just really fun to watch. And it was, as much as I'm not like, I don't ever want to be a parent, but just watching some of these kids prance around, I was like, this is the cutest little thing ever. Like Chris and I were like, "Oh my God, look at these little kids. They're cute," which Chris and I don't normally say. So that was something that or at least I really liked. Your brother found out today that he is not a fan of ballet. But yeah, that's what's made me happy over the past few days, and I'm hoping to ride that high for the next week into next Friday when I can get off and then be off until the 26th. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Mark, what has made you happy this week?
Uh it's been a dang old week. A lot of ups and downs, as it were. Got a lot of personal stuff going on, and it's just been crazy. I've been frustrated. I've been sick, which is probably a result of all of my frustrations over the past couple weeks. And the the kind of best way that I've capped all of this off was both yesterday and today. I've been to three different Christmas themed celebrations. Yesterday we had what I affectionately refer to as Country Cousins Christmas at my dad's house, where I got to see all the cousins from my dad's side of the family, and we see them mainly for like big events, but we all got together and we hung out, and I love hanging out with them. They're great people. Um, I got to see some of my nieces that I don't get to see that often, that I love dearly, and it was super great. And then I left there, came home, washed my face and walked down the road about 10 minutes in my neighborhood to my boss's house, who was having a Christmas party. And that was just a blast. I got to hang out with some people from work because I work in a really great place where I love those guys. And got to drink a little bit, which is something I don't usually get to do.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Uh, and for the first time in probably maybe 5-6 years, I did shots. Um, and I mean, I used to drink a lot. So for me not to have done shots that long, I was like, yeah, sure, let's do a shot. And, I didn't get hammered. I think I walked home, had just like the slightest little bit of a buzz. And as I was pulling into the driveway, um, uh, like Kelly and the kids had stopped by to pick up some stuff, and they were backing out. So I got to talk to them, and then I walked in, I took a shower, watched a little bit of the Mario movie, and fell asleep, and it was pretty all right. And then today I got to do Christmas with my dad and my mom, and it was so much super fun. I just had a really good time, and I kind of needed it, and it was fun. And now here I am at my second therapy, um, talking on the podcast, which is so much fun for me. Raven, thank you for being my co-host.
Aw, thanks, man. Thanks for, all you do, and also being like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I'm looking for somebody to do a podcast. Hey, Mark, what's up?
Yeah,
I'll join you. We'll see what goes on.
I love it. And if I could just take a moment, when we started this thing last October, I was very unsure. I'm sure I've said this at some point over the last year, that I was unsure as to how you were going to do. Not that I was worried you were
Fair.
going to be bad. I just had no frame of reference because I'd never heard you on a microphone before. And you came in here and you were ready and you did the thing and you weren't like, oh, hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. No, you spoke confidently and it was great. And yes, and I look forward to this every week. It is just
Nice.
the best time for me.
Yeah. It's
So,
it's also like really nice to get to watch movies that I feel like I normally wouldn't be like, yeah, okay, let's watch this, 'cause,
right.
you get your fun genre, I get my fun genre. You bring your kids in here and they do some wild stuff. I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever. Let's
I,
rock and roll.
Alice wants to be all extra, and Amy's like, I got to
Oh my
ride
God.
my scooter and drink Kool-Aid.
God bless those kids.
Yeah, there's something else, man. So, and I totally want to thank, because I don't know when we're going to record our best of the year schedule, but I want to go ahead and get this out of the way now, and I will say it again on the next episode. But I want to thank every single person that listens to this show. It has been a great year of reaching out to people and bringing in more listeners and just interacting with people. And I love it. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We got big plans for next year as far as movies. And just in general, getting out there. And once I finish getting my house squared away, I'm going to try to get back into like doing the TikTok video thing some more. Right now it looks like a tornado hit my house, but at least the inside of the house. But thank you, people, for listening to the show. We love you. Please reach out to us, shoot us emails, hit us up on the Twitters, the Facebooks, the TikToks, the Instagrams. We are at Nerd for No Reason. And you can find me on all of those same platforms at Turtles Do It.
You
So,
can find me on the Twitters at spooky_raven. I hang out there probably more than I should, if I'm gonna be real honest. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys. We appreciate anyone that wants to come hang out with us and chat about whatever movies and other things that they like. It's always a good time. It's a fun way to learn new things, to express your feelings when you're feeling like things are crazy. So you can come on here and just listen to us talk about some crazy stuff. You never know.
Yep. And with all that being said, go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You go enjoy and adjust all the holiday spirits. And we'll see you back here next week on the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Ho, ho, ho. Goodbye, everybody.
Cue sleigh bells as Santa flies away on his little reindeer.
I think I might even end this show with some sleigh bell jingle-lang-a-linging music.
Sleigh bells ring! Are you listening? Man. Man, oh man.